So here's the homework for today. We are going to skip to right here. This is just a quick review. Do you remember how to multiply polynomials? First of all, do you remember what x plus 2 squared means? It means x plus 2 times x plus 2. So let's go ahead and use our area model to multiply. 20. We end up with x squared, 2x, 2x, and 4. Remember how to multiply? It becomes x squared plus 4x plus 4. You might remember that we used a formula to do this quickly, which was a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Let's try this one. X plus 2, x minus 2. We end up with x squared, 2x minus 2x minus 4. This works out to be x squared, we combine like terms, minus 4, which is the same thing as a squared minus b squared. Okay. Quick review. Steps for factoring. Always check your GCF first. Once you find your GCF, you look at what's left inside the parentheses. If there are 4 terms, you're going to use an area model. If there are 3 terms, you're going to use an X. Today, we're going to learn what goes in this square right here. All right, here is a special case. I want you to look for a pattern here. We've got 9x squared minus 4. Only 2 terms. Doesn't mean that we can't use the x still. We're going to put, basically, there's a hidden b term in here. We could say this is 9x squared plus 0x minus 4. Right? Now, up in the top of your x, we do a times c, and we end up with negative 36x squared. What's your b? 0x. All right. What are 2 numbers which are going to multiply to negative 36 but add to 0? Well, how about 6x and negative 6x? Look familiar? So in our area model, we put 9x squared, we put negative 4, and the middle terms come from the x. 6x, negative 6x. We do the greatest common factor of each column and each row. We end up with 3x minus 2, 3x plus 2. 3x minus 2, 3x plus 2. See a pattern? Let's try the next one. Very similar. A times c is negative 49x squared. What's your b? Oh yeah, it's 0x. It's hidden inside there. So we'll put 0x here. 2 numbers that multiply to negative 49 and add to 0. Negative 7x and 7x. Going over to the area model, we've got x squared, negative 49, negative 7x, positive 7x, x minus 7 times x plus 7. All right. When you factor a squared minus b squared, the product will look like a plus b times a minus b. Why do we call this the difference of two squares? Because this is a square, and this is a square, and in the middle, you've got a minus sign, the difference. Okay, let's put it into practice. Here's the formula I want you to use. You can use an X in a box, but just for today, I want you to practice using a shortcut. Just memorize. If you see something of the form a squared minus b squared, then the answer is going to be a plus b times a minus b. So the only tricky part with using these formulas is figuring out what a and b is. If this is a squared, if this is a squared, what is a? We can rewrite that as 2x squared. Do you see how it has the same form as a squared? Your a is the 2x minus, now we have a 25 here. This is our b squared. How can we write it as b? How can we rewrite it so that we can see what b is? We write it as 5 squared. A squared minus b squared. Once you've got that, the answer is simple. A plus b times a minus b. Let me show you one more. Okay. This one's a little trickier because the first step in factoring is always to see if there is a GCF first. Is there a GCF? Yes. 3 times n squared minus 9. Okay? We still have to factor what's left inside. It's got two terms. If it's got two terms, we think, is it a squared minus b squared? It is, because we could rewrite this as n squared minus 3 squared. Do you see it now? This is a squared minus b squared. So what's your a and what's your b? We've got 3 times n plus 3 times n minus 3. Okay, let's move on. Let's skip this for now. Pattern number 2. Same as before. Let's multiply a times c. We get 144 n squared. We have a trinomial, so we've got a b this time. It's negative 24 n. Two numbers that multiply to 144 and add to negative 24. How about negative 12n and positive 12n? Sorry, I did that wrong. It's negative 12n and negative 12n. Over here, we get n squared, 144 down here, and the middle terms are negative 12n and negative 12n. They match. Factoring, we end up with n minus 12, n minus 12. So our answer is n minus 12 squared. Do you see the pattern? Now I'm going to skip to this page. Here is the formula you need to learn. It's either a squared plus 2ab plus b squared equals a plus b squared. Or if there's a minus sign here, if it's a squared minus 2ab plus b squared, then the answer would be a minus b squared. So if there's a plus in the trinomial, then it's a plus in the answer. If it's a minus in the trinomial, it's a minus in the factors. Here's how we use it. Here's the formula. Take a look. Same thing as before. You need to recognize that this looks like an a squared, and this looks like a b squared. So you ask yourself, this middle term, is it a times b times 2? A times b times 2. First, let's rewrite it. Let's figure out what the a and the b is. We could rewrite this as 5v squared. We could rewrite the 16 as 4 squared. So that means our A is 5v and our B is 4. Now, A times V is 20v times 2 is 40v. Yes, this is 2ab. So we can write this as plus 2 times 5v times 4. If you can rewrite the polynomial as a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, then it's easy to find the answer. 5v is your a, plus 4, that's your b, squared. Okay, let's try one more, just to make sure you really have it. All right, let's give this one a try. Hold on. I think I want to try this one. Okay? Just because I want you to see what the power of using the formula is. First, is there a GCF? No, there's no number that goes into all three terms. So we've got a trinomial. We ask ourselves, does this look like it could be a squared? Yes. Does this look like it could be b squared? Yes. So then we're going to rewrite it as a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, and we'll see if it works. You could use the x and then the box. Only problem is, at the top of your x, you would have to do a squared times, you'd have to do a times c. Do you really want to have the number, a number of 25 times 9 that you're trying to find the factors of? These numbers can get really big. So this is why the formula can be really helpful. Okay? So rewriting this, we can say this is the same thing as 3b squared, and on this side, 5 squared. So our a is 3b, and our b is 5. Question is, does this become 2 times a times b? Or I like to say a times b times 2. Well, let's try it. A times b is 15b times 2 is 30b. Yeah, it is a perfect square trinomial. So if that's the case, we use the formula. All we need is a plus b squared. Okay. Let's try this one since we've got a little bit more time on my tape. First step, do we have a squared here? No. What do we have? First step is always to find the GCF if there is one, and there is. The GCF here is 4n. What's left in the parentheses is n minus 6n plus 9. We've got a minus sign. This should be n squared. Okay, so let's rewrite. We'll keep our GCF on the outside so we don't forget it. This is the same thing as n squared. And on this side, we've got 3 squared. So if I do a times b times 2, do I end up with what I started? Yes, 2 times 3 times n is 6n. So this becomes 4n, that's still our GCF, and we end up with a minus b, because there was a minus sign here, squared. Which means the same thing as 4n times n minus 3 times n minus 3. All right, good luck with this.